Why, hello. Hello. We're here. Oh, bit chilly out there. Bit chilly out there tonight. I'm blooming cold. I saw three brass monkeys looking a bit worried. That's how cold it is. Brr. And Shamrock, is Shamrock in? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if is that Shamrock. I don't know. I don't know where he is. Live chat. Oh no, Walsh is here. I think he just appeared. Oh, it's all very confusing, isn't it? It's all very confusing. Oh, blimey. It's just me and Walshy now until everyone else turns up. I gave you plenty of warning. I've been scheduling the live streams, and it's working. It's working. Managed to get it to work. How cool is that? This week's been pretty boring. I've got no tales of the dentist. No tales of the dentist. So I've got really not a lot to talk about, I'm afraid. Bit of a shame that, really, isn't it? You know, and it a shame. Oh dear. And it's been pretty quiet. Pretty quiet on YouTube recently. Oh, she's back. He says, turning the big 21 in 45 minutes. Blimey, I thought you was about 50. That's good. 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 That's good, that. Everyone's getting older. Everyone's getting older. Still hanging on. That's what I like to hear. Still hanging on. Brr. Art's in. It says I'm first. No, you're not. Jack's first. How am I? Oh, bit parky. It's a bit parky out there. Brr. Bit brr. It's funny because like the 1st of November, it's like the thermostat, it just goes, they crank it down. You can feel the cold. It's always the same every November because it's the missus's birthday on. Well, I'm not going to say. So she's going to be as old as me, and because her birthday is in the first week of November, we always didn't realise just how cold it is. We always know, oh, it's cold. Your birthday must be coming soon. So, you know. Walsh says, me and Mr. Wilson share birthday. That's nice. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about him. I think I got some people a bit irate. I think I did. Oh my God, the bloodshed. Warner says, evening down. No, we've got to talk about Wilson. Wilson, that. No, just kidding. Well, I think we're all right. I think all Stephen Wilson's fans are in bed at the moment, so I think we'll be okay. But boy, I certainly ruffled some feathers, didn't I? Didn't I just? I mean, I knew there'd be some kickback. I knew there'd be some kickback. But boy, that was a bit of a surprise. Let's see, how many thumbs down is it now? 304. That's not bad. 304 thumbs down, 80 thumbs up. And people they go, how do you feel about 300 thumbs down? I go, I think it's brilliant. It's the most engagement I've had ever. I don't even get that when I do a good video. I'm happy. Oh, it's just the insults though. Oh, so many insults. I think they want you to be upset. I think they want you to be as miserable as they are. And so there's these permanent insults all the time. You know, it's a bit daft. It's all a bit daft, really. You know, it's all a bit daft. But there you go. That's the internet for you. Thanks for playing. Oh dear, where were we? Oh, I've lost the browser window. Wrong one. Where are we? Alex is in. Evening. Payne says Robert Peston reformed Porky Tree. Indeed. Well, Peston always used to joke he's just woken up off of his park bench because he used to always appear on ITV looking rather dishevelled. Cushion's in. Walsh says, I think the new Porcupine Tree album should be called A Return to Pork. Exactly. Sano's in, and Dave's here too. Well, I'm sure you all enjoyed it. I'm sure you all dug the groovy vibes of the new Porcupine Tree track. Wasn't it wonderful? Didn't it make you feel good? Didn't it? Didn't it just? But yeah, it's a strange place. It's just, everyone just has to, stick the knife in. Christian says you might have to speak in code when talking about Porcupine Tree in the future. I suggest calling it Hedgehog Bush. Pork life. You want to cut down on your pork life, mate. Get some exercise. Oh, the people. There's so many people. But yeah, a little bit intense, didn't it just? It was just a little bit intense. Do, 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 do. But hey, we're still here, still ticking along. I probably alienated everyone. No one's coming in. I'm saying, "Oh, stand away from him. He's horrible." Oh well. So many people. Indeed, so many. Like I said, I don't know what else to talk about really, because like I said, nothing's really happened. Art Matt says, I thought it was good. I hate myself, or don't we all? A little bit of self-loathing goes a long way these days, doesn't it? But yeah, it's just it's the internet, isn't it? Everyone knows what the internet's like. Everyone's got to be mediocre. But I think some people were surprised just how few few albums you have to sell. Physical albums you have to sell to enter the chart. But we worked it out. Kusha says, I think your next video should be a review of the Quran. Yeah, don't think so. I don't think that'd be a good idea. Seeing as I don't believe in, he says I don't believe in God and stuff. Best year for music since 2000. 2000? Music kind of died, didn't it? At the turn of the millennia. Everything just died. Culture died as soon as we stepped into the 21st century. Grant says, you're a great musician and composer. I like Grant. Grant's my tip-top man. After 10 years of guitar lessons from pros, I'm not even close to where you are as a composer. Oh, wow. Well, I'm self-taught. I just picked up it's such a long time ago now. I just play, I'm not I know my limitations. I know I'm not a great player, but I think what you've got to do is you've got to kind of interest yourself. You've got to kind of entertain yourself, and if you can do that, and you can, I find it a challenge. See, this is the thing. Some things. There's some things I'm naturally good at, like writing. I can, that I can do. I've never had an issue. Writing's my true talent. But music's always been like tricky, a bit difficult. I always find it a bit hard to do. It's getting easier as I'm getting older, so maybe I should kind of give up the music. But yeah, I think again, I don't know if it's a good idea to have a teacher. Again, it all depends on the player. It also depends on the teacher, doesn't it? Really, I mean, it's tricky because we're all of different abilities, and it all depends what you want from the instrument. And many people, I think, search for virtuosity, and I kind of talked about this the other day. And I think that's really hard to achieve. You should really ask yourself, why am I doing this? What am I trying to achieve? I always wanted just to record. I'm more interested in recording than anything else. And that goes back to getting the 4-track. And I was, like I said, I got a 4-track, and I knew that Sgt. Pepper's was recorded on 4 tracks, and that album was great. And I thought, well, if the Beatles can do it, then so can I. But I didn't have George Martin with me, so I was kind of interested in how to, with the technology available, get the best sound and the best like studio quality out of the equipment at my disposal. And it kind of went on from there, and I kind of reached my limit with the 4-track. And I knew that, give it a couple of years, that the computer would take over. And as soon as the audio cards got, could do multi-channel audio and stuff like that, I invested and we went along that route. So my playing and my, recording kind of go hand in hand. And because I never played in a band or anything or played against anyone, I played against myself, and I need recording for that, to record the various bits for me to play against. So it's kind of all developed into one thing. But again, you've got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Now, some people can do it because they want to play a few tunes at a party, or they just want to learn a few songs, and that's good. Some people might want to learn to write songs. And that's the beauty of the guitar, is you can come at it from so many different angles, and every guitarist is different from the next. We all have our different motivations, different skills, different techniques. That's the beauty of it, And you've really got to kind of sit down and think, what do I want to achieve? And that's, set yourself a goal. Say, well, I want to learn, 5 songs, and I want to be able to play them so well that, if there's a party, I can stand and play and sing. If you want to sing, I don't know if you want to sing and play. Again, that's a completely different skill set, So, I think this is why a lot of people get kind of depressed when they take up an instrument, because you can easily set yourself unrealistic goals, and you've got to remember, every great guitarist started in the same position you started. Every journey begins with that first faltering step, and I think a lot of people give up because they're not the next Yngwie Malmsteen. I say because it sounds funny, So yes, it's a tricky one. It really is. It's a tricky one. I've been lucky because I get an enjoyment from it, and like I said, it kind of goes in hand with the recording side of things, and that interests me. And it's like, oh, what can I do today? Where is it going to take me today? That's just where I'm coming from. Everyone else's motivation might be different. Again, in the old days, it was to get laid. I'm lucky because I can use my personality to do that. I don't need, my guitar playing is not going to get me laid, but I'm lucky that I have a sense of humour and a personality. So that's never been an issue. So yeah, you've got to ask yourself, what do I want from this? Where can it take me? And how am I going to get there? So set yourself some realistic goals, aim for them, and then when you not strike those off your list, set the next goal and move on from there. And that's probably that's probably a better way to come at it, because then you won't get disheartened and you won't get upset. And it also, you're also having an instrument that you actually love being around. And I always say, they say, how can you choose a guitar? And I always say, well, buy the guitar that you desire. Or it should be just a little bit more expensive than you can afford. So that way, you don't want to give up on it. You don't want to, you've got to be like invested in it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people started on cheap. I started on cheap instruments. That's because I was a poor student. But nowadays the quality of cheaper instruments are so good. It's just ridiculous. The guitars played out by Squire alone are just fantastic. Compared to in my day. So yeah, just keep going. Again, it's not a race; it's a marathon, and you get from it as much as you put in. I know that's a bit of an old saying, but be realistic. Be realistic. I know I'm never going to shred. My fingers can't do it, and also they're all bloody wonky, and also they're very small. I've got very small fingers, so I don't have the reach of other guitarists. So that limits me what I can do. And, don't be put off. Don't ever compare yourself to anyone else. Just listen to other players and think, how can I get close to doing that? There's loads of ways. There's more. That's the beauty of the guitar. There's more than one way of getting there. I think you've got more flexibility with the guitar than any other instrument. Piano, it's that you can't really do any other way. That's the way it is. You can't bend the notes. You can't finger it a certain way. It is what it is. I think there's that relationship with stringed instruments that you don't get with like pianos and things. Anything that you strike, that your energy goes into, whether it's the drums or the guitar or anything, where something vibrates, the energy gets transferred down your arm into the pick, into the string, and you feel it. There's that, resonance. For we are all but sound waves. We are just, waves, energy transference. Went a bit cosmic then, didn't I? Went a bit Carl Sagan. See, me whittering on should have got people in the chat room. Thanks for starting me off on that, Grant. That was very good of you to do that. Payne says, the cheek of having the lyric di la di do de la da da la. Exactly. It's not obla di obla da. Life goes on. Oh, whoa, life goes on. We were forced to sing that at school. Our teachers were dirty, stinking hippies. We sung that. We sung Yellow Submarine. When I'm 64. Little Help from My Friends. You name it. Ralph McTell, Streets of London. That was another one. God damn the 70s. Our teachers were stinking hippies. But there you go. It was a different time. Brendan says, as good as technically he is, there's something cold and mechanical about Gavin Harrison's playing. That's what I've got. I don't get it. Technically, he's brilliant, but I don't feel him. He sounds like a machine. He's, and I remember hearing, God, I think was it Bruford mentioned him years ago. It was, Gavin Harrison, it's great and everything. And then it's like, okay, is that it? But then grew up with, like Keith Moon and people like that. And great players that have great feel. He has no feel, But then probably that's because he's a session man. I think he's like probably a really good session man. But nah, not for me. Not for me, I'm afraid. But you put your finger right on it there. You put your finger right on the thing. Payne says, ABBA's got their album out on Friday. That's how far we've come, actually. Jack says, thoughts on 9 Inch Nails. God, it was a long time ago. I'm over them. It was the 90s. Oh, that was a funny gurgle then. It was the 90s. It was like that thing at the night. There was so much music and so many different things happening in the 90s. It's like, yeah, it's all right. Trent Reznor's very clever. I mean, God, gone into film scoring now. That's his big thing now. Interesting chap and all that. But again, I think it's that kind of music. It's kind of has its place, and it's been much aped. Again, I think what they did with, excuse me, it's being out in the cold. You come in and your nose starts blocking up. I think they kind of put down that blueprint, and a lot of other bands have kind of, gone there. That kind of sound. So yeah. Let's all blame Trent Reznor. It was the 90s, man. It was the 90s. You had to be there, man. Cyrus is in. Payne said, he's talking to Jack Walsh. Oh, yes. Can't talk about that band. Bjorn says, have you had the chance to watch the 2 hour 20-minute Collins with John Edgington? If so, what did you think of it? Yeah, funny you mentioned that. That came up in my suggestions the other day. I didn't watch all of it. I think I watched the first, 20 minutes of it maybe. I don't know. It's like, I went into a bit of a stupor, and I thought, I'd better stop watching that, because again, these things are too long for me, and if I start watching them, that's half my day gone, and I've got nothing done. So I watched 20 minutes of it. Now you know why they edit down interviews. Again, it kind of tallies up with what he says in his book, so there's a lot of ground recovered, recovered. Does that work? A lot of ground recovered? Yeah, that sounds fine. But I'm sure it's good. There's a load of those Edgerton things. I've watched that one. There's loads of other ones popped up in there. Steve Hackett, I think, Tony Banks. You know, was that a source material for the interviews in the Genesis box sets or something? I don't know, because I watch it on the telly, you see, so I didn't see what the blurb said underneath. So I imagine that's what it was. Dredge says, "Will you be watching the Beatles Get Back documentary?" Yes, for I have Disney. I have Disney. I don't have Disney, but I have Disney Plus. Good if I had Disney. I wouldn't be here doing this, would I? I'd be trying to revive the frozen head of Walt Disney. Payne says, "I'm very different from let alone everyone else." Exactly, everyone's different, but we're all the same. We're the same, but different. That's what I say to kids. We're all the same, but we're different. Art says, "The older you get, the more disinterested one gets. Watching my favourite Rush early tonight, leaving me cold. Is it just a phase?" No, it's getting old. You're right. I think, again, also, familiarity can breed, contempt. You listen to stuff and you just go, maybe you just need to find something new for a while. Yeah, it happens. It happens. I guess it depends how often you've watched it, and I don't know. There's very few things from the past that leave me cold. I still like a lot of the stuff. I still like a lot of the stuff. Still like a lot, yeah. But yeah, age is a terrible thing. Everything starts to drop off. You start getting aches and pains, and then just a general sense of unease as you feel the creepy, icy hand of death on your shoulder as your mortality eludes you. It's coming for me. He's coming for me. They're coming to take you away, ha. They're coming to take you away. They're coming to take you away, ha. They're coming to take you away. Payne says, "I hit a plateau in playing after about 3 years, but I get by." Well, again, this is the thing. I think that's another thing. That's another interesting point about plateauing. It's like how far are you going to get? How far are you going to get? In terms of technique. I don't think I've got any better. I don't know. I think I got as far as I was going to go when I was about 20, because I started guitar relatively late. I started on the bass. When did I start on the bass? When I was 17, I think it was. I started bass when I was 17. I think it was 17, or was it 16? Oh, God. No, it was 87, because that was the Great Storm. So when I was 16, and I got a guitar. Oh God, when did I get the guitar? I must have got the guitar the year after, when I was working. That feels about right. And I kind of, banged away at it, but then I had nothing to play against. Because when you've got a bass guitar and a guitar, it's just like you can't play them both at the same time. And then when I went to university, I used part of my grant money, naughty Darren, to buy a 4-track recorder. And that's when I really kind of took off, playing. But again, this is something I remember reading, I think it was Brian May. He said, he hasn't improved since his early 20s in terms of technique. You just get to a point where that's where you are and you get comfortable with it. The only thing that I'd say is that sometimes I might try like different things. I might say, well, what if I do this? What if I, I'm quite interested in scale shapes, things like that, different modes. Oh God, it makes it look like I know what I'm talking about. So I'm quite interested in that and finding like different ways of playing things. Sometimes it's good just to play the wrong thing to find the right thing. That makes no sense. Why would you say that? But yeah, you do kind of plateau, and I think a lot of people, they get to their natural ability and then they quit because they think, oh, I'm never going to be as good as insert favourite guitarist here. And that's not the point of it. The point is to get to your natural level of playing, and then just become so good at that level that it's effortless. So you can, it's kind of a level, and then that's when you start to achieve your skill, and then through skill you get craft. And then because craft is the ability to kind of invisibly repeat the unrepeatable, and be comfortable with your. This is what I was trying to impress on Verity about her drawing is, I was trying to say with Herb as well, because he doesn't understand that you've got to practice. He expects to be just naturally good at things. It's like, no, you've got to work at it. You've got to practice. The more you read or the more you do things, you will improve. And I said to Verity, the more you practice, the more you develop your skill, and then you'll develop your craft, and then you'll be able to, do your drawings without even realising it. It'll become second nature to you. It'll become like a breathing, and that's how you do it. I mean, it still surprises me these days how quickly I can record a track, put a track down. It literally is an afternoon's work, and then the hard part is always the mixing, or if I'm writing words, getting things to fit sometimes. But a lot of the time, it's just I just record, and then at the end, if there's something that works, keep it. Any other, it goes in the folder. I've got various folders of bits of music and whatnot. So but that's just the way I do it. And I think again, it's that expectation of being brilliant. You've got to be you're brilliant, because there's various versions of brilliant. There's many different ways of being brilliant, and I think people don't realise that, and they overestimate their ability, or I overestimate the process of getting to that ability. Kind of got to be comfortable with who you are, what you do, and then once you're comfortable with it, you can do anything. That's when you become free, because once you go, yeah, I can play the guitar, or yeah, I know what I'm doing here. Even if you don't know what you're doing, this is the really interesting thing: is if you haven't had a formal musical education, you're more likely to take risks. You're more likely to play the wrong thing and find a way in, to make things work. It's a really interesting way of looking at music. If you have a formal education, you're going to avoid things. You're going to be obsessed with, time, keeping tempo and whatnot. Whereas, a natural player can sometimes speed up and slow down, and whereas if you have the training, it's all done off the grid. It's all, it can be a little bit more stiff. Of course, I might be talking bollocks. I get accused of that a lot. Where are we? Rob says, "Hi Darren, what are your thoughts on the passing of Malcolm Dunn? Did I know him? I don't know anyone. I've read these liner notes and some stuff, and I think I've read some articles. Yeah, he died. Yes, I guess it's a sad thing. I guess one of the old guard. What can you say? It comes to us all. Unfortunately, he will be forgotten because he decided to dedicate his life to writing about music, and no one cares, and that's the real sad shame of it. Is give him a few years, he'll be forgotten. They all will be. And this is the thing, because these people have dedicated their lives to celebrating other people. Reviewers and writers like that, we get a bad stick for being critics. But what we do is we spend our time, talking about other people's, work. And that's a shame. But yeah, no, I don't know what he died of. Might have been a massive drugs bender, eh? Or it could have been the COVID, who knows? But yeah, sad, I suppose. Again, I don't really know. But if it had been Chris Welch, then I would have been upset, because he was truly one of the old guard. I think he's still knocking around, and he's one of the people that, goes back to the likes of Yes and those bands, back in the 60s. So, like I said, a lot of these people are going now, and you're going to see, You're going to see it. It's like there was the manager. I don't know if it was the manager of someone like Journey or something like that, and it tickled me because his name was Herbie Herbert, and I said to the missus, "This guy's got this amazing name." Even Herb thought it was funny. He's called Herbie Herbert, but he passed. He was like 71, and this is what you're going to see. You know, none of us are getting any younger. But poor old Malcolm, eh? But I think didn't he do the liner notes for the curved area issues? He might have done. But yeah, good writer. He's established. I think he invented the term for thrash metal. I think back in the day. How's my groove been? Chilly. Where are we? Jack Walsh says, saw Malcolm Doan on a load of those, great unauthorised documentaries which were on those obscure TV channels that probably don't exist anymore. Well, not all the classic rock productions. Bob Carruthers. Yeah. Whoopsie. Emmy award-winning Bob Carruthers, I might add. Boy, when that band, when him and Bob Carruthers, they went toe to toe. That was good. He was the only one who was going to front them out. It was fantastic. But yeah. Grant says, do you feel like when you're watching the Beatles doc, let it be a sad incident on an absolute favourite bands ever? Is it sad? The only thing sad is that they shot John Lennon. That's the only sad part, really. And again, that's when the innocents died. That's again, I remember that happening and being very sad about it. But no, I mean, everything begins and ends, every band starts. Would you want them limping around like the current version of Yes, doing She Loves You, yeah, all out of tune or out of time? No, you wouldn't. No, the Beatles were groundbreakers, and their influence hopefully will be felt for years to come. But I don't think, again, the way music is and the way it's going, I do feel that it hasn't got long left. Payne says, you hit a piano but hold a guitar. Indeed. Sarah says, what do you think your teachers went on to do after they taught you to sing Beatles songs? I have no idea. They're probably still teaching. I know one of my old English teachers, he's still at the school because he was on the local news. It's like, wow. So that was amazing. Payne says, we were forced to sing, to hear Streets of London. Oh, it wasn't us singing it though. They didn't make you sing it. Jack says, finally bit the bullet and got Spotify. Ads on YouTube have been getting a bit much. Well, the thing about it, Jack, is if you get I have YouTube Prime or whatever it's called. It's about £10 a month, and I also use YouTube Music as well. So because I watch a lot of YouTube stuff on the telly, so I don't have any adverts. And I'm sorry I have to put adverts on my channel. I'm sorry, but like I said, if I ever got enough patrons, then I'd turn the adverts off. But then you'd still get them, because what YouTube does now is even if you don't run ads, they run ads. Yeah, nice. So if you complain at me that there's too many ads on your video, it's not always me that's doing it. I maybe put, if it's a long, like this one, right? Say we're on about an hour and a half. I'll put an ad break at every 15 minutes, maybe. So maybe you get maybe 3, possibly 4 ad breaks. Again, it all depends how they fall. And not all of those trigger, If it's a 10-minute video, I might try and put 2, might fit 1 or 2 in. But again, they don't always trigger. You just put them in the hope that they trigger. Again, it's a science. I don't really know. But yeah, the way YouTube runs now, it's a bloody mystery. I don't know if it bloody works. Jack says, I always thought that Gavin Harrison was a metal drummer before he joined Porky Tree. Turns out he just learnt on the spot when he joined for in absentia. Son of great session man. Yeah. Art says, new prog mag, exploring your favourite Darren space rock. Oh, no space rock here. Russell's in. Josh says, always remember that you're completely and totally unique, just like the rest of humanity. Well, the thing is individual human experience is subjective. We all see things differently. We all hear things differently. We all taste things differently. We all sense things in terms of touch differently. We are essentially the same, but each human experience is different. That's the mind melter, because, I might listen to a record and say, oh, that sounds a bit flat. And you'll go, God, that sounds a bit sharp, because, again, as you get older as well, you lose frequency. And this is why I laugh at people who argue about pressings and whatnot, because what might have sounded great in your 20s, by the time you hit 50, it's going to sound like dog shit, because your hearing starts losing it. Oh, dear. Which is why it worries me when I'm mixing, because I'm thinking, I hope this sounds okay. So there you go. Grant says, Phil did not play drums on Regis and Kathy Lee because he said he was not asked before the show and said he was never going to be anyone's trained monkey. Oh, that's nice. Jack says, thoughts on Marilyn Manson? Was all the panic about him a thing in the UK, or was it just an America thing? We didn't really care. It's all right. It's a bit gimmicky. I just remember it being a bit gimmicky. I didn't get it because I didn't think it was particularly musical. Because we had Alice Cooper in it. It's just Alice Cooper, isn't it? It's just Alice Cooper. I didn't. I just thought, just kind of shrugged it off. It wasn't something that interested me. I saw it for what it was. Like pantomime. It's like Slipknot and things like that. You just go, pantomime. It doesn't really talk to me, but I don't think there was they try. He's called Brian, for fuck's sake. We got some of that what you call it, hysteria. We saw it in the press, from America. Look what's going on in America. But I don't think it was much of a thing over here. So it says, Jay Shellen or Lou Ferrigno III. I don't know any of those people are, sorry. Russell says, playing the bass has helped my guitar playing. Yeah, because it helps you think differently. I started off playing, I'm still a bass player. And I'm a really bad bass player these days. I'm really lazy. I'm just the laziest bass player there is. I used to be all over the place. Now I'm like, let's just hold the root. Root and fifth, that'll do. Octave, root and fifth, octave, root and fifth. That sounds good, that'll do. In the old days, I used to play a bit more like these. But again, maybe if I'm feeling in the mood, again, sometimes I used to just play like drum loop and then play bass against it, and that's where the song would come from. Now I tend to be more guitar, then put the bass in later. So sometimes it's hard to get it all to fit in it. Yeah. Robert says, got my first guitar, Christmas 1984. A nylon strung thing from East Germany, but it worked for a time. Dave says, I'll start again. I've started, so I'll finish. Dave says, I just recently re-watched Genesis induction at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What was the reason behind them not playing on the night? Was Phil's shoulder hand not in good shape at the point? Don't know. I know that it was really odd interaction. Hackett seemed like it was a real odd. I remember I don't know if Hackett was a bit merry, but I remember that being a bit odd. There was a bit of an odd dynamic. And it was almost like there'd been an argument, not between Hackett and them, but the band, I don't know, maybe they did want to play. Who knows? Russell says, I think it's more important to feel free when you're playing. That's it. Always play without any underpants on. Feel free. Chad said, yeah, so they didn't play. I wonder what the story is. Darren, any of your albums have vocals? Yeah. Jesus, Chad, where you been, man? Where you been? Where you been? Josh says, I want to learn the piano, but always get busy and lose my motivation. I think I need to set aside time to practice regularly so I don't keep putting it off. Look, Josh, how much time do you think you need? How much time do you think you need a day to learn the piano? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Are you ready? Just 20 minutes a day. That's all you need. Get a good book, a good instructional book, and just 20 minutes a day. You know, it's all right to miss a day, but ideally do 20 minutes a day, and in 6 months, you'll be very, very good. You'll be almost as good as Rick Wakeman. Trust me. Art says older. Ha ha ha. Me dodgy knee, hernia, cuboid foot bone, endless heartburn. Still chin up. Can you hold your chin up? Do you not get a crick in the neck when you me neck? I certainly know the feeling. Munton's in. Says, hey Dan, I thought I'd pop up by just one more time. So I had a few weeks away. I don't know much about what's gone on with the channel since then. No, it's not a lot. We've just been ticking along. Just been doing what we do, you know, having our little Tuesday night chats. Nothing's really, you know, nothing's happening. Chet says, piano takes dedication. You can flub notes on the guitar, but the piano has to be perfect. That's true. Or the rule is, if you play the wrong note, you play it 2 more times to make it look like you intended to play the wrong note. And that's called jazz. Piano. Yeah, I like the piano. Someone says, wait, where's Harrison Productions? 2003 C Payne, Garrett Munton. Well, I think 2000cc Payne's just gone over. I don't think he likes me anymore. And Harrison Productions, again, these are lightweights. These people have just, they abandoned ship a while back. Again, not everyone's going to stick with me. I've probably said something that's annoyed them, or they've fallen in love, or I don't know, got just better things to do. You know, I'm just here for all the waifs and strays. I'm here for, you know, all the sad, lonely people to chat with, and we can hang out, and, you know, one night a week, you know, and chew the fat. But, you know, hopefully they're having a good time. You know? That's it. I expect people to drift in and drift out, and I'm probably not like you, Cyrus. One day I might never see you again. But I don't hold you any ill will. We had a good time. Same with Garrett. One day he's going to I don't know, be 12 or 13. He's going to fall in love, get that paper round, and that'll be it. That's the last I'll ever see of him. He'll cycle off on his little bike. Munton says, also, I'm feeling kind of down. And I think this might happen to be good for me this tonight before I go again. All right, well, look, this is what this is for. This is meant to kind of be a spirit raiser, you know. And that's why on Tuesdays, even if you watch a bit of the replay, do that, because it is meant to be funny. You know, I'm not feeling hyper tonight. You know, I'm not feeling, it's because, you know, all the drugs have worn off. It's cold. I feel cold. I want to go to bed. I just want to get in bed, get under the covers. I'm just not enjoying the cold weather at the moment. You know, we've had, like I said, one day of cold weather. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. Can we move to the Caribbean, please? But no, you know, we're here. This is a support group for the lonely hearts and the waifs and strays. You know, we're here. And like I say, when you need me, use me, and when you don't, have a life, and that's cool. I don't mind, and I'll do this as long as I can, you know. And you know, we'll still be here, you know. Josh asked Chad if he plays the piano, and he says no. Martin says, I did watch your Stephen Wilson rant video and thoroughly enjoyed the meltdown in the comments. It was like entering a different dimension, wasn't it? Just again, it's just fantastic. It's just a fantastic thing. Josh says, yeah, I hope I can find the motivation to do it. I've got to use the digital piano for a pawn shop, so I have to try this. Well, again, once you've got the instrument, you're invested. But like everything else, it does take a little bit of dedication, and just do it for 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes a day. Some days you might want to do more. Some days you might want to do less. But if you aim for 20 minutes, that's it. And once it becomes regular and you sit down, it's like anything. It's like going for a run or taking the dog for a walk or whatnot. Even though it's raining and it's cold and the dog wants to sniff all the leaves, I think to myself, this is doing me good. This is doing me good in my headspace, or I suppose physically it's doing me good. I don't know, but it's the same with doing things like that. It's a good place to be. It takes your mind off of the stresses and the strains of your life. It will take you, it will remove you from that, and it will make you a better person. It will improve your dexterity. It will improve the quickness of thought because you will have to start thinking a bit quicker. And learning an instrument, just it will elevate you. You may not be as good as me. Don't let that upset you. Because I'm up there. I'm up there with Stephen Wilson. But just keep trying. One day you might be just about to reach my coattails if you're lucky. But yeah, it does take dedication. The beginning is always hard, and that feeling of not improving or not seeing an improvement. But you won't. This is the thing, you won't. And it's only like 6 months in, and you look back and you go, wait a minute, that guy at the very beginning couldn't even play a chord, but now I'm doing chords, and it's getting left and right hand. I mean, I can't do all that stuff. I can do a little bit of it, but I'm more of a plonker than a. I'm more of a plonker. That's it. You've heard it now. There's the phrase. The one where I was a plonker. I'm more of an 80s synthesist. I'm more of a member of the Human League, the Rick Wakeman. But I do like it. I'd like to improve my piano skills or my keyboard skills, and I've always meant to do it. But I tend to do a little bit. I like soloing. I'm good with the soloing. I can do that, but it's the chordy, the left and right hand stuff. I'm not very good at kind of coordinating. Because I think I think like that. But I must do when I play guitar. I don't feel it when I'm doing that. But when I type, I can. It's funny. You think, where's the blockage? There must be a blockage somewhere. Oh, where are we? Where are we? Art says, "No, yes, I'm tempted. At £40 for basic vinyl, I'll pass." Well, just listen to it on streaming service. And you'll go, "Darren, thank you for saving me 40 quid. Send it to me instead so I can waste it on other vinyl." Munton said, "What was the first musician's death to hit you so hard you cried?" Well, it wasn't John Lennon. I was shocked, I was shocked when Elvis died. My mum cried then. And with Lennon, we was just like, it was different. It was a different kind of, it was like, it was a different kind of mourning. I guess it would have been Freddie Mercury, I guess. Because I knew something was up, when he announced the statement. I said to the missus, she wasn't the missus then, she was the girlfriend. I said, "Oh, this isn't good." And I was going to college or university. I was studying my degree at the time, and I was just turning in for the night because I had to be up at like stupid o'clock next morning to get to college because I was commuting across town, and I had to leave the house at like 7 o'clock in the morning to get there for 9, and it was horrible. It was a fucking awful fucking life I had for 3 years, and I wonder why I had a mental breakdown. And I just caught the news report at midnight. It's just on midnight when the news broke, and I was like, "Oh God!" And I went to bed feeling miserable, and I got up the following morning feeling miserable. And being on the tube, it was a cold, bleak November day. I think it's 30 years. This is November the 25th or something. 30 years. And everyone on the tube had the newspaper and the headlines, and the tube was quiet. People were like, it was like the Queen had died, It had. And everyone was miserable, and you could just sense the depression. And yeah. But Simon Jeffs' death really got me, because I found out that maybe a month or so after. Because again, at that time the internet wasn't as, or maybe I was working, so maybe I wasn't as plugged in. But I remember reading it somewhere, and it just hit me in the stomach. It was like, because I wanted to see him play live, and I just wondered what was going on with the band and everything. And that really made me cry. I cried. I really wept for that one. And especially when he had brain cancer. It was just such a terrible, terrible death. And that really affected me, you know. And then Bowie, that put me into a depression for a long time. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a big Bowie fan, but again, it's what Bowie represented, you know. Why am I a big Bowie fan? I mean, there are fans and there are fans, you know. I like parts of his career. There's some bits I don't care for, and there's some bits that I really dig, but, you know, I know his career, I know the albums. I say I'm not a fan, but I probably am. How do you, I just don't, I'm not one that's, I don't feel the need to own the albums, but I know them sufficiently. But when he died, it was like, oh man. And that Black Star album, that I listened to, I didn't enjoy it. There was something wrong about it. And again, if you'd have watched the live listen, it's lost. But if you'd have watched the live listen at the time, it was like, there's something wrong with this record. I didn't like it. It felt like a goodbye, And then like a day or so later, it was done, and it's like, oh god. But yeah, all terrible stuff. Munton says, "What's my Fab 4 favourite Beatles songs, mate? As in 4 favourites." Oh, it's easy. I can do that. I can do it easy, absolutely easy. But they're not in any particular order, apart from Paperback Writer being number 1, and Octopus's Garden being number 2. Yeah. Hello, Goodbye, probably number 3, and oh crikey, and A Day in the Life for number 4. That's it. That was easy. Jack says it's a good thing the Beatles didn't end up as some sort of Vegas band. Looking at you, Rod Stewart. Well, this is it. There's a reason why our heroes die young. Even Freddie Mercury said that, when he was doing the Magic tour, I'm getting too old for this. There are interviews, because there was a thing on the other day, and he's saying, I'm getting too old for this. I don't want to be doing this, when I'm 50. And that's really interesting. I love that idea of, feeling it even then, again, because you put so much into your performance. It's like, nah. And he didn't want to see himself doing it. So sometimes it's a good way. Who wants I don't know, an old, what's his name? Kurt Cobain. Yeah. We have an old Dave Grohl. Imagine an old Nirvana. Chad's going to do the cleaning. Good lad. Cyrus see it. Oh, he's talking to Cyrus. Munton says, your video for me was great, although I preferred it with the title of Darren Lock Destroys Stevie Dweezil's SJW with Facts and Logic. The point was not to put an awful title, because I didn't want to attract them any further. It was just to say they're the best, and see if they wanted to see the. I mean, that wasn't the content of it, But again, I was playing with the thing. I was playing with it. But I put a load of slurs and insults in the tags to see if that would draw them out. Because I'm trying to figure out how YouTube works. I think the title was really important. I think the title was really where it's at. For someone says, oh yes, playing out of tune and out of time these days. Yes. One of you lot, you sent me a link to them playing a while back. Was it this year? I don't know. I can't remember. And Steve Howe loses his marbles at one point because they don't put the light on him. And it was just dog rough. It wasn't nice. It was not a pleasant experience, and it's like, at least the ARW band actually held it together, you know what I'm saying? But I find that version of Yes quite painful. I mean, Steve Howe often drifted, even a while back, even 20 years ago, he used to drift. If you watched him, he's not the most accurate player sometimes, but I think he's just he's on his own planet now, isn't he? Osric Tentacles, bloody hell. Mark says, any thoughts on early Echo and the Bunnymen records? Crocodiles, Heaven Up Here, Porcupine. Been listening to Heaven Up Here a lot. and it hasn't aged much at all. I only know them from like the singles, you know, and I've never really got any of their, I never bothered buying any of their records. Again, a lot of that early '80s music, was kind of off my radar. I mean, I know, you know, on a surface level, and I've always liked what I've heard. You know, I always like their, you know, and one of my favourite songs is "Nothing Ever Lasts Forever," which I think is just wonderful. I'd probably cover that one day. Um, but yeah, maybe I should investigate. Is there enough time? I've got so many records left to listen to, and I don't think I'm going to do it. Because I keep listening to those bloody Genesis records all over again. Oh dear. Jack says, Slipknot wouldn't be half as famous without the masks. Exactly. Grant says, Queen 2 on my dad's German hi-fi in 1978 was awesome to me. The CD, now I'm in the 50s, doesn't even come close to my dad's hi-fi. My ears are getting old. You know, the CD probably was better than the... well, this is it, you know, and again, it's also about the time and the place and the experience. And there is something, this is why I'm a vinyl whore, there is something comforting about putting on a record and, you know, putting the needle down. It's just, there is just something that is magical and transportative. Putting a CD in, doesn't have the same effect for me. You know, mileage may vary. It might do for you if you grew up with CDs. My first experience of owning music was cassette. Then it was vinyl, which I thought was great, you know, and then CD, which I thought was great because then I could have it on the move and, you know, had a Discman and everything. So, you know, but I never felt attached to CDs. I never held one and went, but, you know, or even tapes for that matter. But vinyl always felt real, you know. It's just, I think it's the size of it and the album artwork and the smell, the taste, the way it feels when you rub it against your naked flesh, you know, that kind of thing. Munton says, if God gave you the random power to eliminate and put two current tune or recording bands out of their misery, who would they be? Ha! It'd be that band and that band, just to be on the safe side. That's all. Big lightning bolt. Any trap music I like? No. Look, I don't know what you call it. Is it urban music? It's funny because that's what we call it over here. Though I think we're not allowed to call it that anymore because of racial connotations. I don't know. R&B. There's a real drop-off in quality. I mean, the music that comes out off the streets now is kind of hit the same kind of plateau that, you know, guitar rock hit in the 80s. You know, it's kind of needs to radically reinvent itself. It's got a major image problem. You know, when again, I love early rap music. I think early rap music is wonderful. You know, I love it when they played with styles and, you know, crossover and stuff like that. And again, there was a social message. It said something. But now, it's all about waving your willy around and, you know, look at my car and look at the woman and look at this and look at that. There's no real message there. I know Stormzy does his thing, but it's like, I don't get it. They don't have any personality. They don't have anything that, you know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I see it for what it is. You know, they don't have any charisma, you know. I think you need a lot of charisma. You know what I'm saying? You know, all those rappers from the 80s, they just held the stage. You know? Oh dear. Josh says, thanks for your advice. I think I'll get a book. There was one I got, actually. Let me have a look. I got one for Herb. Don't ask. Herb went through a period where he thought he might want to play the keyboard, but then he didn't. And his book's upstairs somewhere. And it was a really good book. I started reading it because it was really good. And that was the one that started, it gave you like here you go. This is a book, right? And it's a nice little, let me give you a link. It's called How to Play Piano and Keyboard, right? And it's a little ring, and it's ring bound as well. Now that's important. How so? Because you can fold it over and stay on the page that you're working on. You don't have to, with a bound book, it flops back. It's ring bound, and that is just that alone is worth the price. Yeah, spiral bound. It's only £8.50. I don't know where you are, but you can pick up a used one for £4. But give that one a go. Pegasus likes the saxophone. Russell says Queen 2 sounds incredible. Yeah, I listened to it the other day. Oh, Sarah says, what would I do if I won the lottery? Well, I'd delete my YouTube channel for a start. Keep my music one up and delete. Just keep it for that. But no, delete. You'd know if I'd won, because I would disappear off social media. I would be gone. Poof. And that would be it. And then you'd never know what I've done. You'll never know. I would be out of here. Everyone on Patreon who supported me will get a nice payout, because I'm going to look after those guys. Same with the people who helped me here. I will be in contact. But it's got to be a lot. It's got to be a lot. I mean, if it's only a couple, if it's only $1 million, I'm not going to do it. But if it's like tonight, 55 million, if I've won that, everyone's going to get a treat, all right? Who've supported me over the years. You're all going to get a treat. I'm going to look after you. But no, I mean, the only thing is just to, I don't know, buy a nice house. No, nothing big, nothing crazy, but something which has got a gate around it, and so I can keep every bastard out. It's got a little room where I can put all my stuff and have a little recording area. And that's it, really. And maybe buy more dogs. I wouldn't mind more dogs. I want more dogs. I'm going to get some more dogs, more animals. I wouldn't mind a swimming pool, so I can swim whenever I wanted to. I'd really like a swimming pool. But other than that, no, I don't want like a big mansion or anything. I'd like to live somewhere where I didn't see anyone. I'd like to live in the middle of nowhere, but then that's impractical for walking the dogs. So I probably wouldn't really move far from here, really. Maybe buy a house around here, big house, but they're expensive. But nothing too big, nothing ostentatious, just something kind of modest, but detached but modest, with room for a swimming pool. Maybe indoor a swimming pool, so I could swim all year round. And that'd be it, really. Kids would have the best education. Herb would have a tutor. He'd hate me for it. And that's it, really. We should never ask now. And then I'd pay to have all the problems with my body fixed, and I'd be like the bionic man. It's going to be great. I'm going to have completely gold teeth. Might have some diamonds in the front, so they glitter. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. Sorry says, what if prog was mixed with the genres that are most popular today? Well, this is what I tried to do. I might actually go back to doing it. When I started out, when I started re-recording again, when things were back on the computers, I like the idea of guitar and dance music. I know it sounds crazy. So I was doing the Loops and Scales thing. Was like, let's it's from '99, I think it was. Let's combine like dance music with guitar music and try and create something a bit. And so I was using all these, like, there was this, I can't remember what the software was, something like DJ Mix or Easy DJ or DJ or EJ. EJ? Does that sound right? But you could program kind of dancey drum patterns into it. Yeah, it's a software kind of drum machine thing. And I tried to do that, and yeah, I think it was quite good. I like it, and I'd like to do more of that, But I don't know. It's tricky. I don't know. Again, music is in such a state. I really don't know. Ron says, I think Mike Oldfield's in the tropics. Yep, he is. He's in the Caribbean because it's the 1950s there, and the children are more polite. Read the interviews, folks. Read the interviews. It's very, very bizarre. This is a guy who used to live in Ibiza and get off on his tits on whatever drugs were going his way, and then decided to give it all up and go and move to the Caribbean because it's quiet. Anything for a quiet life. Peggy says, "Yeah, you're on a mellow vibe." Yeah, I am, because it's cold and I feel cold, and Art says it's getting chiller. So says the weather person. Oh no, I don't want to get any colder. Martin says, speaking of 2000cc paint, he and I have been online for him since 2017. But I haven't heard from him in 3 months, even after I sent him a birthday message last month. Oh God. Oh. Well, maybe he's okay, you know. Hopefully he hasn't got anything. Do you know him? Do you know his name? Don't mention it here, but, you know, I can always have a look. If you send me his details, I can have a search around, you know, maybe he's on Facebook or whatnot. I remember one fella, I won't mention him, and, you know, I'd known him for a long time, just disappeared, just deleted his Facebook and just toddled off. And I don't know whatever happened to him. And, you know, it's the internet's a strange place. It's like one fella, you know, kind of blocked me on Facebook, but then leaves a comment on my current Doctor Who video because the kids are in it. It's like, wow, you blocked me on Facebook, probably because I was taking the mickey out of Joe Biden falling asleep. And but then, you know, leaves comments on my Doctor Who review because with my kids. It's like, I'm no good there, but I'm good here. Huh? I didn't think you'd want anything to do with me. You know, people are weird, you know. But let's hopefully he's all right. Eh? It might just be he's had enough and he's quit. You know, a lot of people do quit all this stuff. Again, I don't know anything about the guy, so I've not had anything. Prince says, on your opinion, who is the better James Bond, Daniel Craig, Timothy Dalton? George Lazenby, come on. And Walsh is 21. Happy birthday to Walsh. Happy birthday to Walsh. Walsh is officially 21. Happy birthday to Walsh. Let's all give him the bumps. Hooray! 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 I'm not doing 21 of them. We'll be here all night. Paul says, get some thermals. I used to have thermal vests. They were lovely, they were. If I get some long johns, I think my missus will kill me. Am I that old? I'm going to have to get thermal long johns. I don't know. It's just as you get older, you do feel the cold more. You know, I feel it. But then I've also lost a lot of weight, and so, you know, I don't have the layer of fat on my bones that I used to have. So my bones feel it a lot now. You know, and yeah. This is it. It's the reason I've been making videos. Just keep warm. You know, just keep warm. And for the next review, I'm glad you liked the output. Thank you. Martin says, it's like he disappeared. I haven't seen him comment to any videos. He's been inactive. Well, maybe he's not well. Maybe something's happened to him. You know, it doesn't sound good if he's just completely dropped off. You know, but some people do. Some people have a break. Some people just say, I'm done. Or you describe it might be that, you know, he's had a turn for the worse. He might not be very well, or he might not even be here. It happens, you know. People do expire, you know. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that he's okay. But I know he hasn't been on here for a very long time. Art says Neil Peart, his death, it truly shocked. Martin says hope. Pain is okay, but it makes me anxious when I don't get an explanation or anything all of a sudden. That's the worst of long distance friendships. Yeah, this is the same with this fellow I knew. You know, we used to chat on Facebook and whatnot, and then he's just gone. You know, I know he's okay because his kids are still on Facebook, and they never said that I had a snoop on their profiles, and not said that the dad's, you know, snuffed it or anything. So, you know, but he's not in any of their pictures, you know, so maybe, who knows, you know, who knows? Who knows? Who knows what goes on? But that's the internet for you. I mean, I had an old friend, and I knew her from the very beginning, and I think the last time I heard from her was in 2005 when we had the 7/7 bombing, and we used to talk on the phone. She was in America, she used to phone me occasionally. We'd have a little catch-up, because I knew her way back from like 1996. And she called on that day. That was the last time I heard from her, and to ask if the missus was okay, because she knew that the missus commuted in to London, and thankfully the missus was off that day, and she missed it all, and we talked on the phone, and that was the last time I heard from her. I never heard from her ever again. and her email stopped working, and just drifted apart. It's a shame because I wanted to talk about the kids and everything, and it just disappears. It just goes. You never know. Oh, we've got a message here. Rain Blaze. If you cry at pop star's death, you want to give your head a wobble. Oh yeah, and get a fucking life. That's because Rain Blaze isn't human. He isn't human. He's never been touched by somebody else's art. Oh well. See you, Rain Blaze. It's been nice. And there he goes. Rain Blaze has left the building. Garrett says, the passing of Robin Gibb, Alan Holdsworth, Neil Peart, hit me an artist. Yeah. Bino says, Bon Scott wasn't a shock at the time. Tragedy, yes. Well, again, there's some people, it's shocking, and some you kind of expect it. Amy Winehouse, that was kind of expected. Grant says, when I listened to Queen 2 in 1978, I wasn't drunk or taking marijuana. It was so beautiful, completely sober. Exactly, it's a great record. Better to burn out than to fade away. Highlander. Garrett says, what would you think Queen would have done by now if Freddie Mercury had never died? Do you think their impact all over the world would be the same, more or less? Freddie would have gone into musical theatre. He would have been, I don't know, on the West End producing or writing for musicals. I could assume that he did a bit of that with Time, the musical. Music is often forgotten. You kind of get a feeling of that with what he did with Barcelona. He would have gone into musical theatre, I imagine, maybe even starring in it. You never know. But I think, again, a different pace of life. I think Queen would have carried on. He'd have said, carry on, lads. And John Deacon would have carried on because it wouldn't have wiped him out. And they might have found another Adam Lambert. They might have gone that way. And every so often, Freddie might have turned up and done an encore. I think that's how it would have been. But, we'll never know. We'll never know. Dave Brock is 80 and still doing it. Yeah. So he says, do you think Nirvana would never make anything as good as Nevermind or In Utero if Kurt Cobain lived and they continued on? It's hard to write a band off, isn't it? When a member has blown their brains out. The art and the heart of Nirvana was Cobain's suffering, And if you had a happy Cobain, then I'd imagine they'd have done their version of Love Beach or something. But if you had a miserable Cobain, then I think you'd get more great art. However, how long can that be sustained? That's the question, That's the question, because his work came from a very dark, troubled place. There are many writers like that. Who knows? It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one to answer, but possibly not. Zapper and Beefheart, yeah. Redden says, yeah, cry when my mum told me Bon Scott died. Blimey. Sarah says, maybe Steve needs to be replaced by Trevor. God, I don't think so. Sarah says, do you feel cars should be made with vinyl players? I think they do exist. Let me see if I can find one. Car record player. Here we go. Right, let me just, I've got to queue this up. Wait a minute. Right. There you go. She's putting a record player, she's got a record player in her car and she's loading it with singles. So there you go. That answers your question, Cyrus. All right. Joel says a lot of new mainstream music just sucks in general. It's true. Jack says going to turn up for the night. Turn in for the night. I have to be up early by Porky Tree tickets. Boy, I order. We'll have a good one, all right? Hopefully you get the tickets you want. Munt says, I wonder if that's not actually Steve Howe on stage. When I saw Steve freak out during the Gates of the in New York, I could have sworn I saw dark and Baba Yaga type eyes. That's the footage. That's the footage. When the lights on him, I saw that footage. Yeah, see if that might work for you, Josh. Norman says, what made you choose Tuesday nights for your live stream? It was the night of the week when there wasn't anything on the television. Art's off. Oh no, he's still off. I don't know, is he off? Sorry, so you say Mike Oldfield is stalling? Been very quiet from Mike Oldfield and Mike Oldfield camp. Remember, 2020, is it 3, is the 50th anniversary of Tubular Bells 2. So maybe it'll be then. I don't know. We had Return to Omadorn, and then after that, it went very, very quiet, and all the remastering and all the reissues that were coming out stopped. We didn't get Islands, and those albums onwards. I was looking forward to Amarok in 5.1, but for some reason, it all stopped, and I wonder why. Maybe there was a change of management at the record company, and they went, "Who's this Mike Oldfield fart?" Who knows? He's been very quiet. There is nothing coming out from him. No media coverage, nothing. So who knows? Seagull says, which luxury car brand is better, Lexus or BMW? I'm hoping to find something that is reliable. I have no idea, Seagull. You're asking the wrong person. So you and Payne. Oh, sorry, I've missed the question. Sorry, I missed the thing. I've gone up. Yeah, maybe that friend disappeared when he won the lottery. Exactly. Sorry, says in my high school we punched the people a number of times. Yeah, we did that as well. We used to kick them as well in the playground. We used to kick them up the arse. That was fun. Luckily, my birthday always fell on school holiday. Russell says, remember Dan thermals? Only available by mail order. No, I don't. Garrett says, I know Payne's name and where he's from, but I promise not to say it. No, that's fine. That's fine. Also, I do know that he has no accounts outside of YouTube, so I've no idea what to do. Oh, well. Well, hopefully he's okay. Hopefully nothing's happened to him. Seagulls, we've done that one. And you were the same age as him. Well, I didn't know that. Munt says, all I can safely say is I actually helped him with a big project over the summer, and he's yet to use it because it was meant to be shared publicly through YouTube. Oh, well, that sounds really strange then, doesn't it? Munton says, in my opinion, if Kurt Cobain was still alive, I don't think there'd be as many people calling him a genius, which I never understood. He wasn't a genius. He just kind of tapped into the zeitgeist. There's some people that come along, and they resonate, and he resonated. That was the thing. And I think again, the way they didn't give a fuck, if they performed, there was an electricity about their performance. Again, I wouldn't say I'm the greatest fan of them. I respect what they do, and I find some of it interesting. But whenever they were on TV, if there was a live performance, I would tune in because it would be, let's see what they're going to do today. There was always that kind of edgy energy that, you didn't get anywhere else. You never knew what was going to happen. Kind of same energy you had with The Who back in the 60s. Will they smash up their instruments? Will Kurt Cobain, fall off the stage? It was exciting, even though it had all been done before. It was because of what had happened, because the way music was in the UK at the end of the 90s and the early 2000s, end of the 80s, early 90s. It was a kind of a palate cleanser. It was very refreshing to see. Prince says, perhaps if the car is super smooth. Oh, he's talking about cars. I don't care about cars. Have I heard Billie Eilish's new album? No, I haven't. No. You want the link for that picture? Okay. Okay. Let me get it for you. Copy. Yeah, this is the original article. Post. There you go. Cyrus says, it's a shame everything Oldfield related has gone dark. I honestly feel he's one of the most unique figures in modern music. Oh, he's mad as anything. Mrs. has met him. Mrs. met him. On a professional capacity. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what he does. Yeah. I've always got time for him, even though he's crazy, and even though they blocked me from he personally blocked me from his private Facebook page. I won't hold it against him. Not like the featured artist, but I won't hold it against Mike. He's troubled. Which is my favourite. Will it be Nevermind, won't it? So, Munton says, I was soft spot for Nick Drake. At least he knew what he was talking about and performed with feeling. I never felt that with Kurt. You don't like grunge. You see, yeah, but see, the problem is, Garrett, is you didn't live it. You got to live it, man. And there was so much better, especially, I'm going to say, I don't know about America, but in the UK, the charts were appalling. You know, music had hit, and it was just loaded for about 3 years. The music scene had died. It was Stock Aitken and Waterman, they're a production team, you know, fucking flooding the charts with the same derivative nonsense and the same dance music, sampling. Oh, things were sampled to death. And to have something like Nirvana turn up, and Pearl Jam and people like that, it was like, here we go. And they kind of, with a herald towards like the return of guitar music and Britpop in the UK, they were that kind of portent of things to come. It made it okay to play the guitar again. And it's just, again, that's why I think, you know, Nirvana are important. They were like the enema. They cleared it all out. Musical enema. There you go. Kurt Cobain, musical genius or musical enema? Oh boy. Russell says, poor Amy Winehouse, reckon she had potential for further greatness. Absolutely, and I blame her father. Her father is a rotten bastard. Munton says, brighter later and time, no reply. 2 albums I can't live without. Yeah. Gary says, Nirvana and Soundgarden, but I don't get Pearl Jam. Funny enough, I don't get Soundgarden, but I get Pearl Jam. Funny that, isn't it? Bino says, Nick Drake's sister had talent. She had 2 great talents. Know what I mean, guys? Know what I mean? We've all seen Au Pair Girls. What's my favourite guitar? What, in the whole world? What in this lot? Oh, it'd be Old Blackie, I suppose. I showed that one last week. Yeah, showed that one. But I've got a thing for the Jazzmaster at the moment. I don't know why. Jazzmaster. I like playing it. The chords, it just sounds, just rings. Grunge was a shot in the arm. Absolutely, Russell. Russell's from the UK. He knows what I'm talking about. Andrew reckons that in the United States, you had 80s glam metal, and that was getting old, and Nirvana introduced something new. Yeah. Munton says, are there any Oldfield songs or albums that you think are criminally overlooked? Needs more attention. Amarok guitars, music of the sphere seem forgotten. I don't really think much of those later albums. Guitars are great. Amarok's great, obviously. I don't think much of, you know, Trey Luna, music of the spheres. It's all right, but nah. I always think QE2 is kind of overlooked. I really like that one. It's always got a soft spot. There's a real variety of stuff on there. And, you know, Phil Collins is on it and everything. So. Munton says, what do I think of the BBC video of God Only Knows? I don't know what that is. Paul Redden says Gabriella Drank was in UFO. She's also in Crossroads and in Au Pair Girls. Look it up. Urgis Ridge. If you are feeling a little glum, to Urgis Ridge you may come. In winter, rain, wind and sun, I'll always be on horseback. And that's my cue to leave. Thank you for watching. I'll do this all again next time. I'm sure Munton won't be here. But if you are, you are. And that's the same with everyone. If you're not here, you're not here. If you are here, great. All are welcome. All come. Lenin's not been in for a while, hasn't he? There's been a couple of weeks where Lenin's not been in. And yeah, so that's that. Thank you for watching. I'll see if I can bait more Stephen Wilson fans. Thank you for your continued support and patience. And I'll see you all again soon. Remember, folks, if you can't be good, be safe. But more importantly, don't tell your mother.